I'm Tineke Bulima of Testify TV. Here is your news of the week. The face of Jesus found on the wall of a Chinese takeaway. Egyptian president-elect seeks to reassure Christians on Islamic control. Vatican's bank moves to lift veil of secrecy. VAT announcement safeguards church projects. And in sports, why failure is not fatal for the England team. Ian Ridley and Lawrence Boyce were left shocked after coming face to face with the Son of God while picking up some food. As they waited outside the takeaway after a night out, they noticed that peeling paint and dirt on the door appeared to form the face of Jesus. Ian, 39, immediately took a snap of the Mayho Chinese takeaway in Sunderland, Tyne and Wear. This isn't the first time a famous image has popped up somewhere strange. In 2004, a decade-old cheese sandwich said to bear an image of the Virgin Mary sold on the eBay auction website for $28,000. An internet casino bought the butty, which had not gone moldy, from Diane Deucer of Florida and took it on a world tour. In 2003, an American hospital appealed to the Catholic Church for help after being swamped by thousands of people seeking to view what they believed was an image of the Virgin Mary in the third-floor window. More than 25,000 people visited the Milton Hospital near Boston, Massachusetts over one weekend as word of the likeness spread. Attention focused on the medical office building where the likeness is reportedly formed by a leaking chemical deposit inside a sealed window. Egypt's president-elect Mohamed Morsi met with Christian leaders and assured them that all Egyptians will be protected by the new administration. The meeting came one day after Morsi met with the interim leader of Egypt's Coptic Church, which makes up the vast majority of the roughly 8 million Christians in the country. He is trying to assuage the fears of Christians about being marginalized in Egyptian society. Morsi, who won the majority of votes in Egypt's 23rd of June presidential election, was candidate for the Muslim Brotherhood. His victory raises grave concerns among the Christian minority.
Setting a new standard in Christian publishing. Testify, an informative monthly newspaper packed full of inspirational stories, the latest Christian news and views, plus sport, events and more. Testify. Be encouraged in your faith and life. Available free to churches and community organizations. Call 020-8320-1144, 020-8320-1144, or search Testify newspaper. Testify.
The Vatican Bank has opened up to the media in an effort to appear more transparent amid a scandal surrounding the Vatican's financial affairs. In a briefing to journalists, Director Paolo Cipriani said the bank wanted to dispel myths, including one that it runs secret bank accounts. In May, the bank sacked its president, who said he was being punished for seeking greater transparency. The Vatican, said the official Ettore Guti Tedeschi, had been dismissed for being an ineffective manager. In May, the Pope's personal butler, Paolo Gabriele, was arrested and charged in connection with the Vatican's inquiry into the scandal. Officials said he was involved in leaking documents. The recent briefing comes as Moneyval, the Council of Europe body tasked with counteracting money laundering, is due to rule in July on whether the Vatican meets international standards on financial transactions. Mr. Cipriani acknowledged that the bank's operations had been shrouded in a veil of mystery in the past, but said it had taken steps to comply with international standards. The bank, known formally as the Institute of Works of Religion, handles Vatican officials' financial accounts, although it relies on commercial non-Vatican banks for some banking operations. In 1982, it lost $250 million, that's £158 million, in a scandal involving the collapse of one of Italy's biggest private banks, the Banco Ambrosiano, with which it had close ties. The tax office announced recently that transitional arrangements for zero-rated VAT on alterations to cathedral and church buildings would be extended to cover all schemes which had already applied for approval from church authorities prior to the budget. Chancellor George Osborne announced in his budget that VAT would be charged on alterations to Grade 1 listed buildings. The change met with huge objections from the Church of England, as its churches account for 45% of the Grade 1 listed buildings in England. The Church of England failed to persuade the Chancellor to maintain zero-rated VAT on alterations, but it did manage to secure an additional £30 million a year in funding towards alterations and repairs. HMRC also announced that the transitional period would be extended until the 30th of September 2015, allowing qualifying projects to benefit from zero rating for a further 3.5 years. I'll be back shortly to bring you our sports story. Stay tuned.
Testify TV, the home of Christian news.
Once bitten, twice shy means when something has hurt you once, you tend to avoid that thing again. But it seems England has not learnt from history, and the team still has difficulty when it comes to taking penalty kicks. For the 6th time in an international tournament, England were eliminated in a penalty shootout, this time losing out to Italy in their Euro 2012 quarter-final clash in Kiev. The important lesson to take from this is that we need to learn from our mistakes. When you fail an exam, you don't retake the exam until you know that you've identified the areas where you failed. In other words, when you fall down, make sure you pick up something positive when you rise up. Before the European tournament, expectations had been running low, which is unusual for England. However, after an impressive draw against France and wins against Sweden and co-host Ukraine in the group stages, fans once again dreamed of glory. That dream became a nightmare when the two Ashleys, Young and Cole, failed to score goals during their penalty kicks. Here are the views of some fans.
Learn from this.
I think it's a psychological block because they've only, out of 6, they've only won once, and that was over 10 years ago. So I think they have to work on the psychological aspects of it, not on the technical aspects of it. Yeah, I think they could do, but I think they've got to work as a team to do it, and not on an individual basis. They've got to work on their team roles, I would say, and supporting each other. No, I would encourage them to try again. I think it's about being positive, actually, because you've got to think positively and think that you can overcome it. I mean, people have overcome very big obstacles, like, for example, I saw a former paratrooper from the British Army overcoming an obstacle of having no legs and walking 300 metres without support, which was a major achievement, far more major than some of the other setbacks that people have in life. So I think that just shows what you can do with a positive attitude.
England can overcome the taboo of missing penalties. I think it's a mindset thing. I think it's a mentality. If you look at the bigger teams such as Spain, France, Germany, I won't use France, but Italy, Germany, Spain, I think if you look at those countries, basically what they have is a mentality, a winning mentality, a mentality of belief that, you know, we're actually in this penalty kick and we're going to win it. You know, I feel when it comes to penalties for England, you know, the expectations of everybody is just, oh, here we go. Looks like it's almost they already believe that they're out of the competition before the first kick of the penalty spot. So my word of encouragement to anyone who keeps failing in their endeavor is just to keep trying. I always look at the example of Thomas Edison, who failed 1,000 times while trying to create the light bulb, and he basically said that he didn't fail 1,000 times, but he found 1,000 ways of not lighting the light bulb, basically. So I think in whatever it is we're trying to accomplish, is just to keep working at it.
Life sometimes breaks us, but when we learn from the past and allow God to heal us, we end up stronger. Let's pray that the healing process begins and England will be better at taking penalty kicks next time. And that's all for the news of the week. Thank you for staying with us. Bye-bye.
Setting a new standard in Christian publishing. Testify, an informative monthly newspaper packed full of inspirational stories, the latest Christian news and views, plus sport, events and more. Testify. Be encouraged in your faith and life. Available free to churches and community organizations. Call 020-8320-1144, 020-8320-1144, or search Testify newspaper. Testify.